Chapter 1, Lesson 3, Part 2. Now we're focusing on common multiples. Vocabulary. Multiple. A multiple is a number that can be divided by the original number without a remainder. Always the same value of the number or higher. You'll never have a multiple that's lower than a number. For example, 12 is a multiple of 3 because 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Common multiples are multiples that are the same of 2 or more numbers. And then the least common multiple is the common multiple with the smallest value. So how to find common multiples? To find common multiples, you simply start listing. Usually they will tell you to find the first 2 common multiples or first 3 or first 5. You're just going to have to doing multiplication problems. 1 times 6 equals 6. That's the first multiple of 6. And you keep going until you find that number. So 2 times 6 is 12, 3 times 6 is 18. So you notice 18 is a multiple of 6, and it's also a multiple of 9. So then you keep going with your 6s, and you can keep going with your 9s at the same time. 4 times 6 is 24. You might be on 4 times 9 is 36. I recommend doing it at the same time because I think you'll find your matches quicker. But we don't find another match until we get all the way to 36. 6 times 6 is 36, and 4 times 9 is 36. So since they asked for the first 2 common multiples of each pair, you could stop there. So let's practice with finding the least 2 common multiples of 4 and 12. So 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 4 is 12. Well, right here, I see a match, 12 and 12. So I'm going to write that down. Then I keep multiplying. 3 times 12 is 36. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 12 is 48. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 12 is 60. 6 times 4 is 24. Oh, another match. 6 times 4 is 24, and 2 times 12 is 24. So you could keep going and fill the rest in if you'd like, but you have found the first 2 common multiples. So finding the least common multiple, which is abbreviated LCM up here, is just locating the first common multiple you can actually find of the 2 numbers. So listing those as we did with 6 and 15. 1 times 6 is 6. 15. 1 times 15 is 15. 12, 30. You're listing multiples. So let's find our first that we actually have in common. I see that 5 times 6 is 30 and 2 times 15 is 30. So that's our first common multiple, which makes it the least common multiple. It is the smallest one that they both have alike. Let's try to find the least common multiple of 5 and 10. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 10 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. Look at that. Right away, I already found my match. The least common multiple of 5 and 10 is 10. In your packets, they ask you to list all the multiples. If you can find the least common multiple before filling out the entire chart, you do not have to keep going. There are 2 other methods for finding least common multiple. One is using those prime factors, breaking down numbers into their prime factors. 6 is 2 and 3, and 15 is 3 and 5. So what you're going to do is multiply all those numbers, all those prime factors. 2 times 3, we're only using 3 once because it had it in common, and 5. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Method 3, we're doing that repeated division using common prime factors. 6 and 15 can both be divided by 3. Once they get the prime factors of 2 and 5. So 3 times 2 times 5 gives us that least common multiple of 30. You choose whichever method you like the best. let's try method 2 with 5 and 10. So 5 is prime, so we don't have to do anything there, but 10 is not. 10 is 5 times 2. So the least common multiple we know because that list was just 5 for number 5. And that's what they have, is 5 times this 2 here equals 10. Or we could do the repeated division. 10 and 5 can both be divided by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. We'd never have to include a 1 in the multiplication because when we multiply by 1, nothing changes. So again, 5 times 2 is 10. The least common multiple is 10.